Sundarbans, mangrove forest. The Sundarbans spans the massive river delta where India meets Bangladesh, forming the largest mangrove forest on the entire planet. Hidden beneath its tangled roots and dense canopy lives the Royal Bengal tiger, a predator unlike any other of its species. Unlike tigers found elsewhere, these hunt just as easily in water as they do on land, swimming silently between narrow channels to ambush prey. Local villagers have adopted an unusual survival trick, wearing masks on the backs of their heads while working. Tigers typically attack from behind, so the mask is designed to trick them into hesitating, buying precious seconds to escape. Fishermen and honey collectors who venture into these mangroves risk their lives with every single trip they make. Hundreds of people have died from tiger attacks here over the past several decades alone. As if that weren't dangerous enough, saltwater crocodiles patrol the very same tidal channels that tigers use to hunt. The entire forest floor floods twice a day with the rising and falling tides, turning solid ground into water within hours. Getting lost here means facing threats from every direction, above the water, below it, and hidden in the trees. Snake Island. Ilha da Queimada. Grande sits roughly 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, and access is completely banned by the Brazilian Navy. Only a small number of researchers with special government permits are ever allowed to set foot here. The island holds one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes found anywhere on the planet, with estimates suggesting nearly 1 snake per square meter in the densest areas. The golden lancehead viper exists nowhere else in the world, and its venom is powerful enough to melt human flesh around the bite within hours. Local fishermen who drifted too close to the shoreline in the past reportedly never returned. One well-known legend describes a lighthouse keeper and his entire family being killed after snakes slithered through their windows during the night, forcing the Navy to eventually automate the lighthouse and remove all human staff permanently. Scientists who study the island today wear thick protective gear covering their entire bodies, including reinforced boots and snake-proof leggings. Even with full protection, a single bite from one of these vipers could still prove fatal in under an hour if anti-venom isn't administered immediately. Death Valley. Death Valley in California holds the official record for the hottest air temperature ever measured on planet Earth, reaching a staggering 134 degrees Fahrenheit. During peak summer months, ground temperatures here can soar past 201 degrees, hot enough to literally cook an egg directly on the sand within minutes. Rainfall across this entire valley is almost non-existent, averaging under 2 inches total per year, making it one of the driest places in North America. The landscape stretches out as an endless maze of blinding white salt flats, towering sand dunes, and deeply cracked sun-baked earth. Hikers unfamiliar with the terrain have died from severe heat exhaustion in under an hour without proper preparation. In these extreme conditions, water evaporates from the human body far faster than it can possibly be replaced through drinking alone. At Badwater Basin sitting below sea level, heat radiates upward directly from the ground itself, creating a suffocating effect even in open air. Park rangers repeatedly warn visitors that attempting a midday hike here without constant hydration and shade can quickly turn fatal. Lake Natron. Lake Natron sits in northern Tanzania, a lake so extraordinarily caustic that it can calcify the very animals that come into contact with its surface. Water temperatures here regularly reach up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause serious burns within seconds of exposure. The lake's alkalinity level comes dangerously close to that of household ammonia, capable of burning through skin and eyes almost immediately on contact. Photographs of calcified birds found along its shoreline have made this lake infamous worldwide, showing animals essentially turned into stone-like mineral statues after dying in the water. Only certain species of algae specifically built to survive these extreme conditions can actually thrive here, giving the lake its striking, deep red coloration. Flamingos have adapted to nest safely along the shores precisely because most predators simply cannot cross the caustic, unstable mud surrounding the lake. Any other animal or human that wades directly into the water risks severe chemical burns within just a few short minutes of contact. Devil's Sea. The Devil's Sea sits in the Pacific Ocean just east of Japan, a stretch of water long associated with dozens of unexplained ship and aircraft disappearances. Vessels have vanished here without ever sending a distress call and without leaving behind any trace of wreckage. At one point, the Japanese government officially labeled this region a hazardous danger zone for maritime travel. Some scientists believe underwater volcanic activity in the area may release massive gas pockets capable of sinking ships almost instantly without warning. Sudden, violent storms are known to form here with almost no advance notice, catching crews completely off guard in open water. Strange magnetic anomalies have also been reported throughout the region, throwing off compass readings and confusing navigation systems on board passing ships. Local fishermen who have worked these waters for generations still refuse to sail through certain sections after nightfall. To this day, no single scientific explanation has been able to fully account for every disappearance recorded across these mysterious waters. Challenger Deep. Challenger Deep lies within the Mariana Trench in the western Pacific Ocean, marking the single deepest known point in all of Earth's oceans. It sits nearly 36,000 feet below the surface, a depth so extreme that Mount Everest could fit inside with room to spare. Pressure at this depth crushes down at over 1,000 times what humans experience at sea level, enough to instantly collapse an unprotected human body. Total darkness begins less than a mile down, meaning sunlight has never once touched the deepest sections of this trench. Only a small handful of people in history have ever made the descent all the way to the bottom. Submersibles built for this mission require walls of reinforced titanium, several inches thick, engineered specifically to withstand the crushing pressure without failing. A single crack or weak point in the hull would cause instant implosion, killing anyone inside in a fraction of a second. Despite the hostile conditions, strange bioluminescent creatures drift silently through the pitch-black water, uniquely adapted over millions of years to survive crush depths that would instantly destroy any human body left unprotected. Eagle's Nest Sinkhole. Eagle's Nest sits in Florida, a sinkhole cave system widely ranked among the most dangerous dive sites found anywhere on Earth. Over a dozen experienced divers have already died attempting to explore its depths. The cave system drops past 300 feet straight down into a complex maze of narrow, winding tunnels and completely pitch-black chambers. Fine silt resting along the cave floor can cloud visibility down to absolute zero within just seconds of disturbance. Divers who lose track of the guideline leading back to the entrance often never manage to find their way out again. Nitrogen narcosis sets in gradually at extreme depth, clouding a diver's judgment and frequently leading directly to fatal decision-making underwater. Because of these extreme risks, only advanced cave-certified divers with specialized training are ever permitted to attempt a full descent into the system. Even then, any form of rescue becomes nearly impossible once a diver passes a certain critical depth within the cave. Danakil Depression. Danakil Depression sits in northern Ethiopia, one of the hottest inhabited places on Earth. Temperatures here average 94 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, and midday heat regularly spikes past 122 degrees Fahrenheit. The ground looks alien, painted in neon yellow, orange, and green from mineral deposits built up over centuries. Acid pools bubble across the surface, some reaching temperatures close to boiling. This entire region sits at the meeting point of 3 tectonic plates, all slowly pulling apart from each other. That constant movement keeps the crust dangerously thin and unstable in many places. Volcanic activity beneath the surface feeds a network of toxic gas vents that release sulfur dioxide and other poisonous fumes around the clock. The air carries a thick smell of sulfur and rotten eggs that never fully clears. Despite the danger, local Afar tribes have mined salt here by hand for generations, walking for miles across the blistering flats with camel caravans. Explorers who visit describe the ground as scalding straight through their boots within minutes of standing still. The most dangerous part is what lies beneath the surface. A thin crust of dried salt can look solid, but one wrong step can break through into scalding acid hidden just below.